You are listening to The Thought Leaders Show with the world's cutting-edge, hottest innovators, influencers, and impact makers today. If you are looking for inspiration and motivation, listen in. Welcome to The Thought Leaders Show. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Luba Evans. Luba is a visionary and internationally known lecturer on spiritual, personal, and holistic health issues. Luba says that the inspiration behind her work is her vision of personal growth, liberation, return of divine feminine, sacred union of feminine and masculine, connection to the source, and the idea of living the life as a spiritual practice, a life of service. She is committed to facilitating change in the world for ourselves and for generations to come. She has been dedicated to the evolution of consciousness as far as she can remember herself, working with individuals, couples, and groups all over the world. She is the founder of Anima Mundi Institute and Galiana Meditation Retreat, entities that reflect her vision of personal growth, healing, and spiritual realization. She is the author of 2 books, Healing the Broken Heart and Anyone Can Meditate, along with 2 plays, When the Gods Are Laughing and Dreamcatcher. Luba speaks, teaches, and performs at Cosm Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, Burning Man, Berkeley University, and various international art, spiritual, and music festivals. Luba is a weaver, a dancer, a singer, a poet, and an aspiring comedian. She runs regular personal development classes in New York and New England, as well as intensives and residential retreats for open and ongoing groups at Galiana. She also teaches in Europe, India, and South America, serving a global community of students. Luba taught more than 200 different workshops in the last 7 years. And just recently, Luba was a featured speaker at the Business Experts Forum at Harvard Faculty Club. So Luba, today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, feminine confidence. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? This is very exciting to be here right now.
I'm great. And tell me a little bit more. You have such a diverse, varied background. Tell me more about who you help.
All right, with pleasure. Well, I help mostly women who do not want to settle for less and who want to manifest things in their life where they would fulfill their full potential. And we're talking about perfect relationship and perfect career or a business, whatever makes a woman truly, truly joyful, happy, and fulfilled in her life.
So what would you say is the major thing that is holding women back from achieving all those things?
Well, there are many different obstacles, but the most important obstacle is that their soul beacon is not fully lit up. Basically, when our soul acquires very high voltage, which is its original voltage, and its desire to live, its desire and ability to be fully lit up, fully alive, turned on about life, that's when the magic starts to happen. That's when you start creating just by speaking to creation directly. And we work towards letting go of all the conditioning and all the limiting beliefs which are lingering in our minds and in our bodies even, in order to come back to the original brightness of our soul.
So the Feminine Confidence program that you've created, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. The Feminine Confidence program is a very deep 6 weeks process, which teaches a woman and has a woman go through a very deep self-exploratory experience where she's able to see what is holding her back. What is holding her back from loving herself and from manifesting a relationship with a great man? And usually it is based on some original trauma that a woman goes through in her childhood. For example, she did not get the kind of love that she needed to get from primary or secondary caretaker. We often see that the parents were themselves very immature emotionally, and they didn't know how to raise a girl, especially in this fast changing time. And so, especially women within their lineages, mother daughter lineages, going centuries back, have been hurt by the feminine and by the masculine. And so now we have to basically get through the whole process and heal all that.
So when you do this extensive program, is it in person, online? How does that work?
This program is an online program. It's a 6 weeks program where people get together, and at first there is a lecture, and then we have Q&A, and people ask all of their questions, everything that's going on with them, especially if they want to attract a guy that they like, or they want to get a guy committed, or on the contrary, they just are starting to date and there is nobody around yet, and they just want to feel good and know what's going on and present themselves in the way that would help them attract the perfect person for themselves. Or some women could be going through a life change of some kind, let's say a divorce or empty nesting, something along the lines which really changes a woman's perception of herself. So 1 hour we gather for lecture, and then for another hour and a half we just look at everyone's situation and what's going on.
So how did you develop this particular program? I know a little tiny bit about your history. You came to the United States when you were only 19 years old from Russia, and you had a 2-year-old daughter. So did that shape a lot of what you're doing now with your life?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was very challenging and also exciting to become a mother at the age of 17 and then to immigrate to a completely different country, right? So, of course, it taught me a lot, and it made me ask a lot of questions about what is a woman? How can I be myself and yet be successful? How I can reinvent myself? What are things which make me feel joy? What are areas in my own life where I feel insecure? And, there were many areas where I felt insecure. I felt that I was not beautiful enough. And I felt that my sexual life was totally at mercy of some random chemistry, which I usually experienced with some person who was not emotionally available. And all those were great questions that I asked myself, and then I went on a search, and I searched for many years, and I took a lot of teachings from the East, and so enlightened people, and got many transmissions from the teachers of Divine Feminine and Tantric teachers, and also NLP teachers and hypnosis teachers and Buddhist leaders. And so based on that gigantic teaching that I received, I created my own fusion, my own program about 14 years ago. And I was teaching it in retreats, in person, in groups, and with private clients. And so now all of that experience, and I've been teaching retreats and workshops all over the world. Probably I taught more than 200 of them. All of that experience has been encapsulated in this 6 weeks program. It's really a turbocharged program. And I also want to say that as an option, people can also come to an in-person retreat. So some people will choose to do that and some people might not, but definitely Magnetic Woman Retreat, which is a satellite to Feminine Confidence program, is highly recommended for embodying of the concepts of the program fully.
Oh, I love that magnetic woman movement because that is interesting. I was listening to what you were saying. So a lot of the people are talking about attracting the right people or person into their life in the form of a relationship, or maybe they're going through different life changes. When you talk to people, and there's a lot of phenomenal, strong, beautiful women out there, yet they don't seem to have men in their lives who are loving and supportive. Do you have any insights into that?
Absolutely. One of the things which I've noticed in the last 3 years was that women started developing much more, much further and more intensely in terms of expansion of their consciousness, understanding of their core, understanding of conscious communications, and wanting it, from their partners. And a lot of women were having a hard time inviting their partners into, let's say, workshop spaces or retreat spaces, or inviting them to explore their habits and their programming in general, what's going on. And I can be even more concrete. Actually, women often complained about their partners not being fully emotionally available, not understanding how they're making love, for example, and not understanding how their words are affecting a woman, not understanding how to come in clean and honest. And so there were a lot of issues, and women started to really jump on the wagon, so to speak, and look and face themselves and look into their inner world and do work on themselves in terms of becoming more conscious about their own lives. And men were lagging. Does it make sense?
Yes, because I see it in my own life where I've taken big leaps and you leave people behind. And that might be a partner or a husband or children even, because they're like still back, they're not quite up to what's going on. And it just seems like many women, like you said, it's like women are becoming more conscious of, gee, we are very, very powerful. It seemed like for a long time, we almost subdued ourselves. And now it's like there's an awakening. And that's why I was attracted to when you called it magnetic woman movement, because we're starting to accept us. And when we look in the mirror, our concepts of beauty are different. We're not all saying, oh, we have to be, this size 0 or 00 person, because real women come in all shapes and sizes, and, they look different, and we're smart. I mean, I meet more women who are just like brilliant. And it can be brilliant in the sense of business smarts, but also in just being able to connect on many levels. They're just beacons of light. And so,
yeah, exactly.
Very interesting to me.
Exactly. And in some way we became too powerful. And in some way, the women who kind of lost a bit of their feminine and who are associating feminine with weakness, those women are really scary to many men, honestly. And not to mention that we became very strong, and some women started emasculating men. And it turns out that the heart of a man is very tender, and in fact, even more tender than a woman's heart, because women adjust better and women can resurrect faster. They're more adaptable, and men are more fixed in their nature, and so when a man's heart is hurt, it takes a man much longer actually to recuperate. So, for example, if a woman is dating somebody who just got divorced or is going through divorce, honestly, there'll be years till this guy is going to be fully ready to be with somebody else. And a lot of women are going through that challenge, So basically, we became very strong and we became a bit too masculine. And so one of the things which we're teaching in Divine Feminine workshops and retreats and Feminine Confidence program is how exactly to return the choice of being feminine, if we would like to be feminine, or to be in our masculine, if this is what is needed in the moment. How to dance between those things, how to be everything. Because when a woman loses femininity, actually, she also loses her joy.
I think you're right, because I'll just be very transparent here. I've been a single mom for, let's say, 99% of my life. So I'm used to doing everything without having a man to support me in my endeavors. And now my children are grown, and I would love to meet some cool guy who would be my, adventure partner, but I don't meet anyone. And so I'm going, so what is it that I'm putting out there that people don't think I'm open?
Yeah.
So I'm like always wondering, but I don't know enough to know how to turn on the magnet. So I'm very interested in how this works, because when you get used to taking care of, when you have 3 children and you are the sole supporter of your little family, you do whatever it takes, work hard and really, immerse yourself into being that mother or that caregiver. And then when the kids are, I probably fit the life change category, because my kids are growing up, and now it's kind of like, now I'm out there, hey, I have time for me as I develop my business and the other things that I'm doing. So is your program something that someone like me, who is successful in business, and I'm a successful mother, but I would say that I'm very unbalanced when it comes to relationships. So is your program something that someone like me would have an eye-opening experience with?
Actually, everyone in this program is like you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The program is specifically created for this kind of women, for the women who are used to giving and caretaking, and now they're waking up. They're possibly in late 40s, 50s, and all of a sudden they're facing possibly emptiness, and and their sensuality has been inhibited for quite a while, and it takes some practice, and it takes letting go of shame and guilt and fear, and it takes some courage, to step back into that whole yummy energy, into that energy which can really invite and receive the masculine, not like a guy, but like a woman. Because it also requires being vulnerable, and it requires being soft. But luckily, since I myself am a very business-oriented woman, on top of being a tantrika, which is like on top of teaching sensuality, and myself being very strongly in my own sensual and sexual energy, luckily, my teaching is not about just dropping, masculine energy and and transforming into this feminine diva. My teaching is about inner marriage. It's about having a strong structure of your masculine, which is going to be protecting your inner feminine at all times. And at the same time, allowing for the inner feminine to get a little bit more wild, to get a little bit more soft, to get a little bit more juicy and free, and inviting and magical and mysterious, and sometimes letting it go, and at the same time, this inner feminine feels protected because she knows that there is an inner masculine there in you who can support her. Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah. And so I love the words juicy, magnetic, because all of those, if you, like me, I always see myself as the designated driver. I'm the one that everybody else could go have fun. And I'd say, don't worry about it. I'll not drink. I'll just make sure that I'm ready to take care of you. So you just have a good time. I'll make sure we all get home safely. That's me.
Yeah.
So now I'm going, you know what? I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to have a juicy life. So when you describe that, it's, that's very exciting to me to know that it's not too late. Because
no. Yeah.
I think sometimes we think, I spent the best years of my life, doing, taking care of kids and working and doing all these things, that you kind of worry a little bit like, oh my God, is that all there is? And am I going to go into, the next 20, 30 years because we're living longer, we're healthier. And it's like the idea of going it alone is not that attractive. It's like, having a successful business is one thing, but not having anyone to share all the fun and excitement doesn't sound very appealing, so I just find it very interesting. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Your program, so you have it's an online program that obviously is very, very deep. If people choose, they can go on to the Magnetic Woman Retreat. Now, you travel all over the world. How did that come about, that you're able to do these events all over the world?
Yeah, well, I'm connected with a network of teachers of Tantra and Divine Feminine in every major area of the world. And sometimes we meet at festivals, and it's a small circle and we all know each other. And then we invite each other to collaborate. For example, my Spanish colleague, Santoshi, and I organized Ibiza Goddess Retreat in Europe. And it's a yearly event. And we have 50 women from different European countries get together. And it is incredibly exciting. What happens is, for example, we had a full moon ceremony and we welcomed the full moon in 7 different languages. It was really ecstatic. It feels so great to know that women all over the world have the same issues and support each other and are all beautiful in their own ways. So it's really empowering. Also, I lived in India for a long time, and there is a whole body of teaching and teachers who are associated with India and Osho Ashram. And so I'm a part of that community, European community that lives in India often. I also travel a lot to South America because I also do shamanic work. And by the way, I don't know if you mentioned, but I write plays and we also create interactive shamanic theater, which is also transformational theater and helps us break through. For example, my assistant did not have her period for several years. And in one of my plays, she was playing Venus, personification of divine feminine. And we staged that play on New Year's Eve. And when she played in that role, in the morning, she got her first period, in 3 years. Yeah. So what's happening is really real. It's really majestic. And I also want to tell you that women who are in those practices of divine feminine, they can really unleash the fountain that's been there all along. It's just that fountain of yours, that magical feminine force. You've been using it for caretaking before. You've been using it. You've been just using that energy to take care of other people. But the energy itself, the sexual energy and the life force, is the same energy. It's just a matter of how we experience it, and it's a matter of where we direct it. So it's time for women like you and like women in feminine confidence program to start enjoying their own feminine fountain, to unleash it, not to be scared, and to ride it. And the way it gets opened up, at first we deal with beliefs and we deal with the past and forgiveness of the traumas, understanding of life lessons, choosing new beliefs. But then we need to address everything that's been lurking in the body, because the body remembers everything. And the body is your shield. You know, the body is your joy, but the body is the instrument of pleasure, but it's also an instrument of protection. And so many of us repress sexual energy, or repress desire to receive, repress desire to have ecstatic orgasmic experiences, because at some point in our lives that experience was hurtful, or after that we said, never again I'm opening up to this. And the body remembers it so well that even if you want to open up, you already can't. Does it make sense?
Yes, because it like you said, your body will protect you. And
Yes.
So it's like you say, okay, I'm going to close this down because this, let's say you had a bad relationship and it was painful, or an abusive relationship. So you say, okay, I'm going to protect myself. And your body goes, okay,
Totally.
I'll protect you. And then at some point, maybe you change your mind, but you don't have it changed in all the right places. It all makes perfect sense. So
Totally. Yeah. And so we work with that. So during retreats, we work on the body level. That's why it's important to do those practices, like to fully embody it, to do it in person too. Although the 6 weeks program also has energy practices and physical practices, but it is just so much better when we get together in person and our power and energy multiplies.
So you also do mandala parties? What is that?
Mandala party is a party where men and women come together and they stand in 2 concentric circles. At first, we have different kind of action and body awakening and dancing, but then they come in together in those 2 circles, and they do a meditation with each other, and it's a dynamic meditation which is guided by me for about 5 minutes each, and then they step to the right and meet another partner. And so what's beautiful about those interactions is that it's possible to meet another person on the level of their soul and on the deeper level of the question, why do you live? Who are you really? What are you doing here on this planet? And as opposed to asking questions like, so do you want to have children? And the truth is, some of those questions are great that we use while we're dating, but the truth is very often person doesn't even know if they want to have children, let's say, or they don't. Many things people, whatever there is in their conscious mind, what they think they want and what they really want, those things are very different. So when we meet each other in more meditative space, in space which is so much deeper in our subconscious mind, we allow the wisdom of our subconscious mind to see another person in a deeper light, in the true colors, so to speak. And I have exercises where people just listen to each other sing, or where people just lead each other into a dance just by a hand. And we learn about each other through every sense. And we learn about each other sometimes without talking, because sometimes talking is actually taking away from the real presence and from the truth. So those are the kind of parties. And then usually at the end of those concentric circles, we put up a play. Very often we put up one of those shamanic plays. And you said I wrote 2 plays. By now it's already 5 plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you have such a varied background. And I think that one of the things you were saying that is important, you work with men and women and couples also. So it's not like it's only about women, because obviously all people need to understand themselves and how to connect and how to communicate and, live and make the world or the universe a better place. So I think that's important. Sometimes it sounds like people only work with, women, but I know you also work with couples also. And
oh, yeah.
So that's really interesting. You talk about, you do the plays, and then you also do meditations. So if somebody wants to connect with you, how would they go about it to learn more?
All right. Well, I have a gift that I prepared for your audience.
Yay.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about that gift. It's a very special gift, actually. First of all, the URL for this gift, and I'm going to give it again, but this is just to start writing it down. So take a piece of paper and a pen, or write it down on your computer or on your phone. And the URL is attracttheloveyouwant.com/gift. And I'm going to say it again, attracttheloveyouwant.com/gift. So this gift is really, really special. It is a guided meditation, which has been the most popular meditation out of my whole following, which is about 45,000 people. So this meditation has been downloaded about 24,000 times. And it is something that I recommend to listen to as you're falling asleep every night for 40 nights to get the biggest effect, an absolute shift of the paradigm. So basically, this meditation on a deep level restructures your relationship with love. In other words, if you have any problems attracting a person or being attracted to a person who is good for you, who is a loving person, who is going to make your whole future brighter, you have to listen to this meditation. In fact, I would even recommend, even if you are in a happy relationship, or even if you are in a relationship with somebody who you think is your soulmate, listening to this meditation is going to brighten you up so much. It is going to turn your magnetic switch on in your mind. And women report after this meditation miraculous things that are happening to them. Some of them actually start smelling like a rose. and definitely they attract a lot of attention. They usually attract 3 times more attention from men than they used to, and from wonderful men. So it's a fantastic gift. It's $47 value, and I'm giving it out for free to you guys. And again, the URL, the website is attracttheloveyouwant.com/gift.
Great, because I just found it and I love it. It says, learn this 7-second trick, how to get the man of your dreams. And then it's a beautiful red rose, the center of a rose. And it says, attract love. So you will definitely find it on there. I am going to use this. I'm excited about this because I'm ready. And I think that a lot of women are ready. You know, it's like we've taken care of our children. We've taken care of everybody else for years and years and years. And now it's time that we learn how to, like you said, have that feminine confidence. And, to know that masculine part of us, it served us to make it, through life. But now it's time to reclaim that feminine confidence that we have, because I think that's what it is. Because I travel a lot, and I meet tons and tons of people, yet I don't meet anyone.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't meet anyone because you're not projecting that energy that you are this yummy, juicy creature who
Yeah.
wants to be touched, And also within feminine confidence, it's very important to have a high value of yourself as a woman, and not high value of yourself in general as a human being. You don't want to go there telling a guy about your achievements or being proud of your achievements. Is fantastic, but that's not the game we're going to be playing here. The game here is to have high value as a woman, which means owning your gift that you just received, and the second one, the gift is that you're just your body, your mind, everything. And the second one is what you invested in yourself as a woman. And that is very important. Investing into your education as a woman, your lovemaking skills, investing into receiving massages, investing into beauty, investing into making your body a great instrument, like something that you're proud to play, and that increases your value as a woman. And the third part is your perceived value. And this is something we also work on. So once our value as a woman becomes high, everything changes. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. And I'm really glad that we had this conversation, because it makes perfect sense to me. They say that when you're ready, the student is ready, the teacher will come. Well, yeah. Obviously this student must be ready.
Fantastic. Well,
and
yeah.
I think everyone listening, if they're listening to this, that they are ready also. And the gift at attracttheloveyouwant.com. And I found it under / the-gift. That's what I found it under. But it's such a beautiful gift, Luba. I really appreciate that. Is there anything else that I may have forgotten to ask you? Like I said, you have such a wide, deep, diverse background that we could probably talk all day to dive deep. Is there anything else that people should know about you and how you can help them?
Yeah, just one thing. You forgot to ask me the meaning of my name.
Oh, what is the meaning of your name?
I'm joking. The meaning of my name is love.
Luba means love?
Yeah, in Russian. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Because okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Like I told everyone earlier, I met Luba at the Business Expert Forum at Harvard Faculty Club, and she told a little story. And I would love it if you could maybe tell a little bit more of that story and how you described the difference between the men you met in the United States and the men in Russia, because I found that very amusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely talk about it. So guys in Russia at the time when I was growing up, basically what was happening with them is they really were very macho and very chauvinistic, and none of those guys took care of themselves. They didn't change clothes, really. Never changed clothes. We were wearing the same outfit for 2 weeks, and they never would go down on a woman. They thought that the woman has to do absolutely everything for them. She has to work. She has to stand in big lines in supermarkets and basically carry. There were no cars. Most people didn't have cars. And so those women had to carry big bags, very, very heavy bags home, and then cook. And then maybe even give him a massage and be all really nice to him, while he also has kind of a semi-official lover. So that was the situation that I grew up with. That was the Russian guy kind of
Well,
MO.
the way you described them was you equated them to a goat.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did.
And the way that you said it, but it just made me, I was in the audience and I was laughing and I think the entire audience was laughing because of the way you talked about them smelling like a goat. And I remember this, it made me have a flashback to childhood. My brother had some goats, and I'll never forget this ram, a male goat, and it came up and it tried to butt my mother. It came up and it was butting her, and my mom took her shoe off and she beat the goat over the head with her shoe. But that goat stunk. I mean, that goat reeked like I can't even describe it. Just really, really smelled like some combination of cat pee and skunk. Okay, so when you said that, that's what I smelled, and I'm going, oh my God, if that's what the men smelled like, I was just like, whoa, that would be so unattractive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just laughing because in the United States, we're just, people take a lot of baths. And so I can imagine that when you got here and you go, with men, they go, whoa, hey man, you don't smell.
Well, yeah. And sometimes you'd call them up and then I would say, oh, Boris cannot talk to you right now. He's taking his monthly shower. Yeah. And then I was talking about how this blue-eyed, beautiful alien, handsome alien, who looked like James Bond, rescued me and my daughter. And he was wearing a deodorant, which at that time I thought was top of the line. That deodorant was Right Guard. and he did not smell like a goat. And that was amazing. And so because of that, I said, okay, that's it. We're moving to United States of America. And so, and I want to tell you something else, what's very interesting. So as I mentioned before, I was not the most conventionally beautiful girl in Russia whatsoever by any means. And, well, first of all, I was shorter than everyone else, and I was fatter than many people, and my facial features were not perfect whatsoever. And so when this James Bond of an American guy chose me, who had a 2-year-old child, from somebody else, to be his wife and bring me to United States of America, and he was actually a presidential scholar, and he went to Harvard himself. A lot of people in Russia were really surprised. They couldn't believe it because he had choice beyond, your imagination. Like every girl wanted to be picked by him. And the reason that he picked me was really because I had a spirit. I had a very special spirit always, and I had a very strong connection to the spirit. And that was the point of my speech. I believe in power of spirit. I believe in the power of every woman to reconstruct relationship with herself, whatever she's thinking about herself. And believe me, most women, even anorexic ones, and in fact, more so, always think that there is something wrong with their weight. Most women, even the ones who are on CoverGirl, think that there is something wrong with their skin or facial features. It's not about what we own in terms of our body parts. It's about how we're able to accept our body, the body of Earth, life itself, how we don't have to be hung up on perfectionism, which is perfectionism is like it's a trick that society is playing with us. Perfectionism is one of the biggest enemies of feminine confidence. And not only feminine confidence. A lot of people can't get even successful in their career or their business because of this perfectionism. So what I'm saying is that I never had that. I never had it. I was not a perfectionist, and I learned to fully love and accept myself, and cherish and value my great spirit. And going back to the beginning of this interview, as you introduced me, I'm a strong believer that spirit grows, and the power of spirit grows when we are at service to humanity. That's when we remember our real purpose as women. And our real purpose is love. Our real purpose is to be that shining beacon, but not at our own expense, and definitely not at the expense of our feminine, and not at the expense of our pleasure. It is being in our true pleasure, in our true feminine nature, when we can really provide that service to the world, special service as women, not as men. Like pieces, like we are the artists, but we're also pieces of art ourselves. And so this program is about becoming that valuable piece of art and recognizing yourself and such. And then the doors will open. Does it make sense?
It makes beautiful sense. And Luba, I just think that what you just said just really wraps everything up so beautifully. And everyone definitely go to attractthelove.com/the-gift, and you're going to find this beautiful meditation. You'll recognize the page because you'll see a video and it says attract love with a beautiful rose, red rose on it. So you'll know you're at the right place. And again, Luba, you really do have this energy that comes right through the internet to me as we're having this conversation. So I really appreciate all the time that you've taken. And again, congratulations on speaking at Harvard Faculty Club. And I was so pleased that I was able to meet you there. And congratulations. And I understand you're going to Holland soon to do one of your international programs. So have a really good trip. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this show.
This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to the Thought Leaders Show. To get all past shows and to get all future shows, go to thoughtleadershow.com.